Welcome back to the episode with Mystic Scales and Fae
and Fae
Tales
Tales
Podcast.
Podcast.
I'm one of your hosts, Jennifer.
And I'm your host, Leigh.
We are a fantasy, romance, and dystopian podcast. So welcome back if you are been here before, and welcome if it's your first time. Today is a mini episode, so we do 2 mini episodes a month that are 30 minutes long and 2 full-length episodes that are an hour long. And we are going to be reviewing a book in the Grishaverse by Leigh Bardugo. So that's an entire universe of books that we have been doing for quite some time on this podcast. So make sure to check out all of the episodes related to this. And we have a book club on the app Fable that has about over 600 members at this point. So we read the books with them, and then we review them on the podcast here, and then we also do some other like fun one-offs. So I say that all to mention the Grishaverse is something we've been doing with our book club for quite some time. So if you are reading the books, that's the Shadow and Bone trilogy, this is the Crow's duology, the King of Scars duology, Demon in the Wood graphic novel, and watching the TV show Shadow and Bone.
Yes, we are doing it all.
You can join us on the app Fable at Fae Tales Podcast. It comes up right away to join our discussion or look in the archives to see us deep dive into this universe. So today's episode, we're very excited to talk about a different kind of novel in this universe of books, a graphic novel, which I'm very excited for because I love to read graphic novels on the side. So this is very cool to review and talk about because our first graphic novel we talked about on the podcast.
Yes.
And that is Demon in the Wood, also by Leigh Bardugo and illustrated by Dani Pendergast. I'm so sorry if I said your last name wrong, but they have illustrated this novel that was actually, did you know this? It was originally a extra story they had on one of the printed versions. I don't remember what it was. It was either one of the Shadow and Bones or one of the things. It was like a 0.5 novella, and they had decided to take it and make it into a graphic novel.
Gotta be fairly recent, I would think.
Yeah, so the graphic novel came out in 2022. The short story was published in 2014. And then it was adapted to the graphic novel in 2022.
Okay.
Smart thinking by the publishers, also to go back and take a story that already existed. We're going to dive into this book and go into our reviews, share some images, and chat about it and chat about its relation to the other books and the TV show. So I'm saying all that as spoilers ahead because there will be spoilers for the Shadow and Bone trilogy. Yes, it's the Crow's duology, King of Scars duology so far that we read, and the Shadow and Bone, the entirety of the TV show. So you have been warned. If you don't care, stay on. And let's get into it.
Yeah. This is one that we actually didn't do this on Fable. We didn't do it in the book club, but that doesn't mean that we did not include it in our journey of the Grishaverse.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe we just post like a little chat, like in the thing, like if anyone's read the graphic novel, let's chat in this, in this thread, because it's kind of hard to do this as a book club on that particular app because A, it's so short, but B, there's no chapters. There's graphic novels with chapters, but this one does not have chapters. So I don't know how we would discuss it that way. We have to discuss the book in its entirety.
Yeah. And I feel it's so funny because you say it's like published and it was written in 2014, but even like the dedication calls back to the TV show. So I feel like it maybe she was just like inspired by the TV show to like bring this back to light. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I know when I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I know when people adapt regular novels to graphic novels, the author does need to revisit the work because there's things that need to be changed in terms of fitting in with the panels and the storytelling and the illustration. And obviously you have illustrations, so you don't need to necessarily write as much. So she most likely had to go back and she had to not rewrite the story, but she wrote all of the words,
like dialogue. Yeah.
So it wasn't her revisiting the story. So her having a new dedication makes sense.
So I guess I jumped the gun just a little bit. Do you want to give a brief description of what the story is?
Oh, yes. Okay. So Before he led Ravka's second army, before he created the Fold, and long before he became the Darkling, he was just a lonely boy burdened by an extraordinary power. Eric and his mother Lena have spent their lives on the run, but they will never find a safe haven. They are not Grisha. They are the deadliest and rarest of their kind. Feared by those who wish to destroy them and hunted by those who would exploit their grief, they must hide their true abilities wherever they go. But sometimes deadly secrets have a way of revealing themselves. Discover the start of a grand and sinister destiny in this must-have graphic novel, prequel to the blockbuster book series, and international Netflix sensation Shadow and Bone, with spectacular new talent Dani Pendergast and New York Times bestseller Leigh Bardugo. And the dedication that Leigh mentioned about author Leigh is to the cast and crew of Shadow and Bone, especially Ben, who is one of the good guys. That's really sweet that she did that.
It is really sweet. I kind of love it.
Me and Leigh shared this book, which we haven't done in quite some time. Did you take the jacket off?
No.
So
No.
you should have took the jacket off. Okay, so we got the hardcover because I'm fancy like that. So I'm gonna save that for last. Hold on. So we have the cover, which is beautiful and has like an matte UV. You could see it like shines. And then it kind of does that in the back too, which is great. And then when you open the book, the end papers are like this shiny gray color, which I loved. Feels like they spent a lot of money on the packaging on this, and I love that. The design goes all the way around into the author bios, and you're going to be ready for this big reveal of no jacket.
Here we go. Ooh,
So for our
okay.
listeners, it's beautiful. It says The Demon in the Wood, and it says the two authors' name, and it has like a border design around it that's like a gray, metallic-y. It also shines, but embedded into the hardcover, and it has the border around it is like the branches of the wood, but it also has some creatures in the bottom. I think this is like a lion, a bird, and then the stag
The
probably.
stag.
Of course, the stag. And then on the side, it's just the regular names. And then on the side, it has their author names as well, and the same thing. But it's still great and awesome.
Oh,
And these books have the Grishaverse sign. So there is a symbol for
yeah.
the Grishaverse. It's a G with the V through it and a knife. So I think it's really cool. And it has that on the jacket as well. So it's kind of nice that this universe is so fleshed out in obviously the storytelling, but also the marketing and the overall look of
Yeah.
it. And it's kind of cool because we don't really see that. Like, what other book universe have we seen that in a long
And
time other than like Game of Thrones or something?
right, like I was thinking Powerless, but like this is not, no offense to Powerless, but this is not tacky. Like this feels like very immersive, and they just kind of it flowed with the whole series. It wasn't like pushing the marketing on you.
Not at all.
So
You were excited to be a part of it
yeah.
more, I think.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
And I will say the description on the back cover, with the Grishaverse that's in foil. You could feel the foil on it, which is amazing. It's a red foil.
Okay.
It says underneath it, the Darkling's origin story comes alive in this exclusively illustrated and prequel to The Shadow and Bone, the hit Netflix TV series. So, when did the show come out? Maybe that's why this was in tandem and why it's
I thought it was
so.
like 2021, 2022.
Yeah, so that kind of makes sense.
Yeah. You have to listen to our episode about the first part that we watched to learn more.
Yeah, so season 1 was 2022 and season 2 was 2023. So that makes sense why they published it in 2022. Sorry, 2021 was first season, 2023 was second season. So the book came out smack in the middle. So that was really smart on the publishing side to have new publishing that ties into the TV show and
Yeah.
kind of like a lure between. Oh, and I don't know if I mentioned that the Demon in the Wood is also in foil, so you could feel it on the cover. It's so cool. Oh my God. It's a beautifully
It's really
designed book.
nice. It really
And it feels like they went
is.
all out for it, and I love that.
Yeah. It's very cool. She has like almost every like medium for this
Yeah,
because
because
she just had the short stories, the letters from Ketterdam come out. And then this, and then obviously the novels, and then the show. It's very cool.
I know the last thing they haven't done yet is the Outcast audiobook.
Oh, yeah.
It's probably like the last thing
Hmm.
they have to do.
That would be
Otherwise, they've kind
so
of used.
fun for Six of Crows. Oh my God.
Stop! I bet you they're gonna do it. They have to because they just repackaged the cover, so they have to do something eventually.
Yeah. Yeah. They totally should. That's like the new thing. You know who's going to be in it is our bestie.
Teddy Hamilton, or wait, which one? Which one? We have a bunch.
No,
No,
the
no,
guy
no.
who plays.
Oh, he's not a Teddy Hamilton. Actually, I barely hear Teddy Hamilton anymore. You're right. We do hear this guy more often. He's the one who plays Gus, right?
Oh no, I was thinking Zayden. But we do hear Gus a lot.
Oh, I hear Gus all the time now.
All the time.
Yeah, he was in Shield of Sparrows Part 2.
Yes.
It was two.
Yes,
It was
he
both of them.
was. It was both of them. Yeah. Yeah.
Where do we hear Xavier from the dramatic?
Yeah. I mean, remember like way back when we started this podcast and we were listening to all of our fantasies and it was that one guy, I think his
You're
name is
right.
Gabriel Michael, maybe.
Yep, you're so
And
right.
he's very good, but he has a very distinct voice.
Yep.
And he
Yep.
kept popping up. He would definitely be in this.
Would he be the Darkling?
Probably.
Hmm.
Definitely wouldn't be Mal. I guess he
No.
could be Kaz. But
It feels so weird though to have that not be the cast that was in the show.
right.
Like they were
like,
so well done casted. They should bring
were.
them back to just do the
Yeah.
graphic audio.
I was like, Kaz should come back. Jesper should definitely come back. I mean, yeah, they were
Dinesh,
all.
Nina, all of them were
Yeah,
great.
Nina.
They were
Yeah.
perfect. The Shadow and Bone cast you can recast, but the Six of Crows casts, please stay.
They were good. They were on it.
No shade, no tea.
I
Except for
agree.
Ben Barnes. Ben Barnes is pretty good. Not gonna lie to you. Speaking of Ben Barnes, he
This
deep into
is
the
his
wood.
story.
So, let me pull up some illustrations to show you. I really enjoyed the color palette of this book. I don't know about you, but we have
Yeah.
like a lot of reds and tints of blood, and then we slowly get the addition of like blues, which is beautiful. And then this story is set in Fjerda, so that's interesting because I feel like you know what was so funny? I feel like the TV show we got all the different places, and the books we haven't gotten all the places. Like they
Yeah.
went to Shuhan, and they went
Yeah.
to we do Novia Zem a little bit, but they went to Novia Zem,
Yeah.
and they barely went to Fjerda. But then in the books, we're in Fjerda all the time.
All the time. All the time.
All the time. And this one, the entire book is there. So yeah, it goes back and forth between that color palette. So I liked that. Did you find it interesting?
Yeah, no, I definitely did. It reminded me a little bit of Lore Olympus, and like, granted, I haven't read that many graphic novels, but like the smokiness, the haziness felt similar. But yes, I thought it was very nicely done. I thought it was beautiful. Definitely, like the artwork was captivating.
I love when he's thinking. It's a black bubble for his thoughts as well, which was cool.
Yeah,
Because like he's never been ashamed of the darkness or
right.
of it. So he's really cool that he claims it at that. And we get to see young Bagra. That's insane.
Yes.
So young. I mean, obviously he's
Yes.
young too, but like we're just so like I really don't understand the age thing now. Like how old is Bagra here? You know? And like he looks 15, right? And then like we're supposed to believe that when he's a Shadow and Bone, he's like early 20s.
But
right?
like
And but he's
also
been alive for
hundreds of years
400
old.
years.
Yeah.
So if he's been alive
Yeah.
for 400 years, that they say in the show or something like that, and he's only like
Yeah.
20 something, and she's like old, right? She looks like an older lady. How has she been around for like 1,000? Like
maybe. Yeah.
double it?
Yeah. I don't know. She's
How old do
definitely
you feel like she was illustrated as?
Maybe like 30.
Yeah, she's getting 30.
I loved seeing her like that.
Yeah, did you look at this? Look, her doing the cut. So cool.
And she was so like harsh. You know, like she's not a loving mother.
Which is what
But
he said. That's how she raised him.
Yeah. Yeah. But like she obviously did care enough because she's like teaching him things and they're moving from town to town. He can't have the same name. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
did love? I loved that. So they use a word for mother in this book. I think it's Madraya or something.
Yes.
And in the show, Nikolai calls his mom that. Like he calls the queen that. And I was like,
Oh,
"Oh, that's such a good little touch." Because
I
they
love
don't use
that.
that in the like main series. I don't remember that term.
I wonder if they'll ever republish the books with the storyline of the TV show. Because if you're saying like they connect them, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
basically like a part, like a part two.
Yeah.
Speaking of, but what you're saying with Bagger, I loved this scene that they had. So in this scene, it was when they got into the camp for the first time. So the story, follows them and they're going to a new camp and they're going to a Grisha hideout and they're like, "Well, wait out the winters here." Because remember, we're still like an older Ravka, so it's not as developed and all these things.
Mhm.
And she goes, "Well, we'll see. Tell me about the camp." And then he has to show her everything that he's learned and knows and skills from her. And he goes, 12 huts, 8 half working chimneys. She goes, "Why?" He goes, "Those are the huts for the Grisha of greater status." Good. What else? "The Yuli is rich, but his hands are callous. He does his own work, and he walks like an imp. And a limp." And she says, "Old or new injury?" And he says, "Old." And she says, "Are you guessing?" And he says, "The wear on the side of his boots shows he's been favoring that leg for a long time." And then she says, "Go on." And then he says he lied about the elders. So it's like you gives like
Wow.
extreme detail into how their relationship is. That is always,
Mhm.
yes, what you're saying, the loving relationship probably is there deep down, but it's not the surface of it at all.
Mhm. Mhm. And it also just like I find that so cool. That's like a very Sherlock Holmes mentality, right? Like noticing all those little things. And obviously they need to do that for survival.
No, it's interesting you're mentioning them having to do it for survival because you start to see the Darklings mentality and wish for his own home. And like he even says on the
Mhm.
next page that I just told you, Grisha don't own land, always on the run. None of it feels real or permanent. And that want for a permanent home. And
Yeah.
then that comes up later when he meets the girl, whatever her name was, I forgot now because she's irrelevant. And um he talks about that, wanting something. And that's kind of what fuels him because this entire story is his betrayal and the first betrayal he faces and why he
Mhm.
becomes who he is in terms of um never really fully trusting anyone and the greed of power. But it also
Right.
shows his deeper thing where he wants to give he does want to give Grisha their own home. He does want to do that. But then
Yeah.
because of all this trauma, he's like, but we can never be equal. Like, we always have to have the upper hand because they're always
Mhm.
going to treat us like shit. It's
Mhm.
interesting.
Yeah, which like we've talked about before how it seems like Leigh Bardugo has this fascination with the Darkling and this kind of like back and forth of is he good, is he bad, who is he, what is he? And it it comes across like we talked about it at the end of Ruin and Rising, right?
Mm-hmm.
When he's like laid to rest, I'll say. And this kind of conflict of do we mourn him? What do we do with him? And like here again, she just like presents you with like a new side to be like, well, maybe like he wasn't so bad or he wasn't always so bad. And it's like, oh my gosh, like it's a lot to take in, I feel like. And I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. So I don't know how you feel.
I still think I'm conflicted. Like, I'm never not now with him. Like, especially like the TV show version of him. And
Yeah.
yeah, it feels like she doesn't have a footing of what she really wanted him to be. But like, that's also okay in a way,
Right. Like is that the point? I
Because
don't
I think
know.
maybe we're supposed to feel how Alina feels, like she's
Yeah.
always in between of the two. So I put up on the screen too, like that artwork that kind of ties back to that of the no safe place, no haven. So if you're
Mm.
watching our videos, you could see it. Um,
Mhm.
but another just example of him getting this idea of like he needs to create a haven for the Grisha. He needs to create something that will feel permanent. Even though
Yes.
ironically, it's still like he destroyed it all, which is like so great to see in this
Yeah.
story, him wanting that and feeling that and thinking of these ideas, and then for it to all come down because he's the one that destroys it in the second book. So it's like, whew, case storytelling.
I also thought it was interesting that I guess when I like picked this up and knew that it was like a background story for the Darkling, I like wondered if it was going to be the same backstory as they had in the show, but it's not quite. Like in the
Mm-mm.
show, he kind of has a love that he loses. And this one,
He does allude to this though in the show.
yeah.
I caught it.
Oh,
I did catch it. It was one of the episodes. I'll find it. It was season 2.
I think does he say the phrase demon in the wood?
Oh, I don't know if he does all that. That would be really cool if he does though.
Because
Um,
it's either in the show or it's in King of Scars, maybe. Because I do remember that phrase, but I'm curious.
yeah, so in the show, I have to find the exact episode number, but he does mention something along the lines of I've been betrayed once before and I will not be betrayed again. And it has to do with like, its feelings of power and things. So it was just really interesting because I immediately was like, "Oh my God, the graphic novel."
The
Which like makes sense. It could have been like if the plot of the little side story was came out in 2014, then maybe he read it.
True. True.
I don't know Ben Barnes' acting experience.
I gotta believe he's all in. No, I don't know his experience either.
Okay, it's episode 6. Darkling says something about being a boy being betrayed and will never do that again.
Mm.
So that's why it connect like literally about him being a boy and being betrayed, which is Demon in the Wood.
Indeed.
So
Yeah, that one is kind of crazy.
it is. So her name is Annika, I think it is. Annika?
Oh, yeah. Okay. I was gonna say
And so we
Anastasia. Close.
no. So we meet when he's at this new place to stay. To Grisha, Sylvie, who's the little girl, and a little sister, and it's Annika is the older one. They lost their mother from a Fjerda attack of the witch hunting. And our Darkling, or I should say his real name at the time, is Alexander, going by Eric. He's not the Darkling just
Eric.
yet.
Yes.
Befriends them. And Sylvie is a really cool character because she's not afraid of his magic as everybody else is, even Annika at first. Annika's very afraid of it, but he does like the little like hiding of you in the shadows and all that cute stuff.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he kind of like saves their asses like 2 or 3 times from like bullies and things. And so what did you think of her introduction? Were you thinking that it would be that what you said, the TV show, the love story, or what did you think?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I definitely did. Um, or at least like just friends, which was like such a big thing for him, like wanting to find a home and kind of like a sense of belonging, it felt like. So I thought at least that. Isn't Sylvie also I don't know how to pronounce it, the non Grisha?
She is Atskizentia. I think I'm saying it wrong. Or Otsavenkensia. She is. So Annika is the one with powers, and she does like the one that's wind. I forgot the name of it. It's Zoya's. And
Squalor. Oh.
Squalor. Yep.
But I
And
also
this is
was
not.
confused because was their dad
Oh no,
one
she's
of
just
the
water.
like
I'm sorry.
leaders?
Yes, her
In
dad. He wasn't one. I don't know if he was one of the leaders, but he's in the camp with them. So I think that she said that Annika and her dad are, and maybe the mom, obviously, were Grisha, and Sylvie's the one that's not. And sorry, it's not air. They do water. So Otsyatskia. I can't even
which
say
maybe is
it.
where they got the girl from the show who does the water. Because she's kind of similar. to Annika
Oh.
with the ice.
Is he healing his trauma?
Or controlling it, you
Mm-hmm.
know?
Oh, controlling his. That's a great point. So Leigh saying that there is a character in the show that we kept being like, who is this girl? And she's like the general for the Darkling, and her powers are very similar. She does not look like this girl, obviously, because this girl in the book is Grisha. I mean Grisha, Fjerda. But
Right.
that's a great point that maybe there was a connection in that and making that he would years later pick the general be someone who has high power or that's the same power to have control of his trauma, like you said. Great, great, great quote.
Thank you.
Did you
Um,
suspect, though, that this character was not completely trustworthy from the beginning?
no, I
Me
didn't think she was
either.
strong enough. I, I,
Yeah.
I was like, so she wants to go after the bear because she wants an amplifier.
Yes.
She's getting bullied, needs to protect her sister, all this.
And she thinks that
And
her father and her will be kicked out because they're not pulling their weight, quote unquote.
yeah, yeah. And then the bear gets killed. And I was kind of like, whoa, like, who did it? And I thought that's where the story was going.
Yes.
I did not think that she was gonna have some twisted, like her own power hungry mentality.
Mm-hmm. I absolutely love, too, that it ended up being the town of non-Grisha that killed the bear.
Oh my gosh, yeah. That was kind of like you're like, oh, like they don't get it. Like it's not gonna be like used in the way that like the Grisha need it. But obviously like the town is gonna like have meat and have like
They're having a whole
clothing.
festival.
Yeah. But it was definitely like you felt like what side you were supposed to be on, you know, like you're
Mm-hmm.
supposed to be on the Grisha side.
But then you're introducing the character of Sylvie, where you do feel her pull and want to be around not just the Grisha and like the childhood innocence of it, because she's not
Yeah.
afraid of the Darkling's power or anybody else's power, but she doesn't see the problem with hanging out with people that don't have any power. So it's
Right.
like, yeah, it's so sad because then she's in that moment of, do you teach her it? Like, I don't know, it's weird. And then the sister
Yeah.
feels bad about it right after, that she's like, she's never been able to see like a festival like that, like, so I wanted to give that to her, but it's just the hard
hmm
world that they're living in. And then you could tell that Annika is just like, so much of her trauma of her mom dying is like every step that she takes, she's just scared. That's
Okay.
really why she can access her power too, because she's just scared.
Yeah. Honestly, you're probably right. She needed it. She probably like if she had gotten like Bagra to like be her teacher, this could have been avoided. But she was too
Literally.
afraid.
I will say I did forget about him being an amplifier for a second, because like
Mm.
they had been somewhere, when they were first going to find Sylvie, and she offers her hand to be like, hey, I'll lift you up, and he's like, nah, like, I'm good.
Oh, yeah.
Read it more as like, oh, like, does he want it, like, he's like, do I have a friend or do I close myself off? That's what I read that as. And then I went
Um,
later on as the book developed, I went, oh, I forgot he's an amplifier. Like, totally forgot that, like, by his touch. And I thought it was beautifully illustrated as well. So, like, this is probably like another great aspect of it, having illustrations over the words. But like,
yeah.
just to see him grabbing, like, deciding I'm still gonna grab her and save her life when she's falling
Yeah.
after trying to save the sister, and then she obviously is the amplifier, and the her powers increased because of it, because he touches her,
Right.
and it was just so cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
So sad. Yeah, I also did not expect her to do all of that.
And
And
kind
then
of
yeah,
the
we.
way she did it.
Mm,
Like it was like, damn, okay.
hmm Also, I loved how
Also,
immediately when they got back, Bagger was like, "Yeah, I know that you did something." He's like,
yeah,
"Ah,
she's
shit," and she's
like
like, "Yep." She's like,
all
"I
in
see
the
it."
eyes. Yep. Yep.
But like, and then when they get back, she plays it off so well that, like, we're just friends. Like, you saved my sister twice now.
Uh-huh.
Like, I don't give a shit.
Uh-huh.
And she's just like, do you want to come swimming with me? And he's like, what? And you can see his
In the
childhood
cold.
innocence. Yeah. And you
Right.
can see like his like teenagers and him being like, oh, maybe. And like thinking about it. And they're just like, okay. Like, I did not expect this.
No. No. You like wanted him to have something. And yet,
And I think that's what Lee's, the author, is trying to show you. Like, he could have been something else depending on what didn't happen to him. But I don't know if
yeah.
I fully believe that either. Do you?
I mean, I have a hard time like believing that. I think there's too I think she's shown too much like power within him, and the way he like rationalizes that power, it just doesn't leave I don't think it leaves much for any like redemption or like to see the other side.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's so interesting that like Leigh writes so many different ways to be like, no, no, like think about it. Like maybe he does. Like maybe you should think about this. I'm like, I don't know, girl.
I also have a hard time with that. I have a hard time with that in a lot of the stories we read or watch because it doesn't necessarily mean that it's because they get a good environment that they're always going to then choose good. You know, and I'm not saying like they're inherently bad, but there is some aspects of that with people
Mhm.
in life, you know? And
Mhm.
like I'm thinking about House of Dragons because we're watching that and talking about that. Like there's the character of Aegon who is an asshole child and the character of Joffrey, but they're raised in this beautiful household with all everything they could desire and want, and they have so much power, and then they
Yeah.
become spoiled brats. And
Yeah.
like, what it like someone like in my mind, so I'm like, what if the little palace existed, right? And this safe haven for Grisha existed, and he's born, and then he's catered his whole life, and Alina even brings it up, like she's happy that she wasn't raised in the little palace, and they would have like praised her all her whole life, and then she would have been a completely different person. And it's like,
Mhm.
yeah, I don't necessarily believe that's because if he didn't have his trauma, that he wouldn't have still been as power hungry.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's also like this idea that so he wants quote the best for Ravka, right? It's just like what he thinks is the best for the majority of people is actually not, right? Because he's
Yeah.
destroying towns and like but they're it's like he's the end justifies the means kind of mentality in a way. And he doesn't see anything wrong with that. And I
Hmm.
think that's where he becomes quote bad, right? And I think that's the whole point of a villain.
Which, to your point, this graphic novel shows you how he learns that from Bagra.
Yeah.
Because she is ruthless in this past of that she
Yeah.
just wants to protect her son. So the
Yeah.
end, no matter what end she does, will justify the means.
Mhm.
So I don't
Yeah.
necessarily, sorry, Leigh Bardugo, but I can't see it. Um, so then, like, yeah, we get to our plot twists of the book, which of course
Mm.
happens in like the last couple pages. So
Mhm.
you're on your toes, and it has this beautiful mix of the blues and the purples and the blacks because obviously they're nighttime, they're
Yes.
swimming,
Yes.
and then suddenly we have the um. It was a battle. It wasn't a fight. My father couldn't protect us. He got you and Sylvia away safely. Um, the Darkling says, or Alexander says. She goes, I guess I'm going to dive. And he says, are you sure it's deep enough? And she goes, I do it all the time. Careful. And then she goes up on the top and she raises her hands and you think she's going to dive. And he goes, what are you waiting for? And she says, nothing. And then there's this panic. And I love this like panel of his panicked eyes as well because
Mhm.
he's slowly realizing that it's not what he thinks. And he's like, it's cold. And then he's like, what are you doing? And the ice is forming. And she goes, Annika. And then you see her walking with the rock in her
So
hand
creepy.
and
Yeah.
the, I'm sorry, I need an amplifier. The way that switched so quickly in a few panels was
Yep.
beautifully illustrated
Yep.
and heartbreaking, especially his face, so heartbreaking. And then we get the other twist that this bully followed them. Of course he did. And
Mhm.
he's going to stay with them and they're all going to fight. And I loved because because Alexander's smart and he's been trained by Bagra, he immediately starts shouting why they're there. So that makes the guy aware of what's happening. So that way it would you would think that not everyone would think that because then they're like, okay, now it's 2 against 1. But he knows that this guy is greedy and going to fight Annika for it, or Annika for it. So, and he literally says, his bones are mine. That's so
Yep.
chilling. Imagine people talking about your bones.
Crazy.
Disgusting.
Crazy.
Yeah, and then he does get hit in the head. She does, and that's another beautifully sad illustration of him getting hit in the head.
My God, I know, that was a little jarring. I was like, she actually did it?
She did it. But he uses that to be able to break the ice, and they're all in there fighting their way out. And I have the illustration. Hold on. Yeah, and then when he's deep in the water, he finally is thinking of his real name, Alexander. And we have a flashback before that of him and Bagra. And she says, "What are you waiting for?" He says, "Can't we stop training? It's dark." And she goes, "What should that matter to you? Light calls the like, the darkness belongs to you. As long as this heart beats, you keep fighting, Alexander." And he says, "Fight."
And then he's smart enough to use the cut on himself.
Yes, using the cut after he was asking Bagra early in the book to use it. So he finally uses the cut. And after asking Bagra, to use it many times, and she goes later. And I think it's so chilling because he kills the other guy, but then he cuts her enough that she's still alive.
Yeah.
And you're just like, is he going to leave her? Is he going to kill her?
Right. And it's kind of graphic,
for
a graphic novel.
Yeah, and then you're right. He's smart enough to use the cut on himself, which is like, oh my gosh, because he knew that he had to give somebody else to hate because they're gonna blame him and his mother for this, and then they're already on the run, and so it's like one person. But then this is exactly what you're saying, the means to the end, because then they blame the town of innocent people. And that broke. I was like, wow, so this is one of his many murders that he does, and he's still only a child. And they attacked them, and they killed them all. They burned that city to the ground.
Oh, yeah. And he can't have remorse because it's just we gotta move on. We gotta do whatever we need to survive and save ourselves. And this was it.
Mm-hmm. Yep, we see the village burning. He says, "Do I smell smoke?" And Bagra says, "Probably." And he says, "The village." And she goes, "They wouldn't give up who attacked you, so we killed them all." And then he has a panicked eyes right there. And he says, "All of them, every man, woman, and child, that then we burned their houses to the ground." And he says, "I'm sorry." And she says, "I'm not. Do you understand me? I would burn 1,000 villages, sacrifice 1,000 lives to keep you safe. It would have been us on the pyre if you hadn't thought quickly." So exactly what we said, that she will literally kill everything, which is so sad to then see her turnaround later on, that she is the one trying to kill her son.
Yeah. And it also makes me wonder and want to explore how much did he do to win her approval, kind of because that moment feels a little oh wow, mom acknowledged that I was smart, but I don't really think we see that anymore. And it's kind of interesting that that's not a motivation for him. But
Yeah,
it's definitely
when did it
sad.
change? You're right. When was the shift? In the 100 years they've been alive? When did he feel like he didn't need to search for her approval anymore?
Right. Does she? I feel like now we need her story. Did she change? Because when we meet her, she's kind of done,
Yeah.
She's lived her life. She knows that her son is awful. She's trying to save Alina. And she just, eventually she kind of sacrifices herself. But I'm curious, when did that, how many years was she alive when she just said, okay,
I'm done. This is too much. Yeah, graphic
Okay.
novel part 2.
That'd be great.
And we end on this amazing shot of him
Oh,
saying, "I will build a safe
yes.
haven." You see all the Grisha on the bottom. And yeah,
Yes.
you wonder how much he really built. Like he built the second army, the orders, the keftas, everything. It's like
Yeah.
even again ties it into why would he then go, "I'm gonna burn it all down." Why?
Yes,
Insane.
lots of questions.
Lots of questions. Acknowledgements. I wrote this story sometime in 2013 during the lead up to the release of Ruin and Rising, the final book in Shadow and Bone trilogy. Is it a hero's origin story of a villain's? Question mark. I've never been able to see Alexander as purely one or the other. He is a survivor who dreams of safety for his people. He is a tyrant who brutalizes and exploits those who trust him most. If Ravka were a different country, if he had been raised by a different mother, if his mother had been raised by a different mother, who knows who might have been.
See, it's just like it goes in circles. But I
It
like that
really
she
does.
acknowledges that, you know? I think it's interesting.
It is.
Uh, but okay, you had a comment that this wasn't quite enough for a graphic novel. Do
Yeah, it
you
did.
do you want to elaborate? Do
Yeah,
you
I
not?
think I think it should have been labeled a novella story, but I understand why they didn't because for sales. Um,
So like a graphic novella, or like how would you?
yeah, I would say graphic novella because it's just
Okay.
like I mean, I guess it doesn't matter how they want to label it in terms, but for me, like realizing like, oh, this was a short story, this was a novella originally made it put into perspective for me because I was going into this expecting an entire plot because that's like
Mm.
I've read a lot of graphic novels and
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
novels like just because they have images they're
Yeah.
novels, they have a plot, they have a beginning, ending, and like and of course this does in the way of like it's a story, but like
Mhm.
I felt there was no lead up to something. I was confused on where we were going in terms of like, okay, this is giving me you're saying it's his prequel story. I'm thinking we're getting like a lot more than just something like a pivotal moment for him. Like this
Okay.
story felt like it was a small story and a bigger story, which is obviously true. So I think I was just expecting more of a, like you alluded to with the show, like more of a prequel actual story of something that was that
Sure.
was adding to his journey. But I get it. Like everything I'm saying is contradictory of itself because like you still can't make an entire prequel because his life is like 400 years
Mhm.
and or more, and this to him was a pivotal moment that shaped
Yeah.
him, but also a blip of a moment because
Yeah.
he has lived so long. I don't know. I think that the story lead up in terms of the arc was a little lackluster for me for this book. Um, but in like talking with you about it and like in the aspects of just like the show and stuff, it was great for me, like as a fan. But if you were
Good.
just like to pick this up and read it and not know the Shadow and Bone, like you'd be like, okay,
Sure. Yeah.
and like,
Yeah.
you
I can
know,
see that. Okay. That makes more sense. So what would you rate it?
I haven't done it yet. Did you do it in Fable? It's in there. It's not in there as a graphic novel though. It's in there as
The
the
short
short story.
story?
Yeah.
I feel like I
Um,
did. I don't
I don't
know.
know. What would you? I guess I would give it like uh, I think the illustrations are the best part about this. So like
That's
the visual
yeah.
aspect of this. Like if I just read
Yeah.
this story, I think as the short story, I would have been like, oh, okay. But like reading it as the
Mhm.
graphic novel, I was like, okay, like.
Yeah.
So I think it would
Yeah.
get a higher rating for me, like
I think
overall.
yeah, I think I did rate it as like the illustrations. So probably a 3.5
Yeah.
or something like that. Um, I'm always so impressed with the illustrations in graphic novels, especially because like I'm not really a comic book reader, so like kind of getting into that headspace, I'm always like hesitant, I guess. But then like once you really like dive in, you get like captivated. So I
Mm-hmm.
enjoy that. And I thought this was very well done.
I love the visual aspects. It really brought the story to life in a different way than if we had just read it. So I was really
Yeah.
appreciative of it.
Yeah. Thought it was smart.
So I think that's a wrap on Demon in the Wood by Leigh Bardugo
Yeah.
and illustrated by Dani Pendergast. Very happy we read it. So there are more books in the Grishaverse. I'm going to hold it up here. We'll probably post that on Instagram and TikTok too. The side stories. These are the anthologies and more. So there's the Lives of the Saints, the Severed Moon, and the Language of Thorns, and now Letters from Ketterdam.
Yeah.
Not sure if we're gonna read any more of these and review them here. I mean, we're probably gonna read Letters of Ketterdam though.
I think we
Because
should.
duh,
But the
Kaz
other
and
ones are
Inej.
like,
The other ones,
yes.
we'll see. So make sure to check it out though. Like the rest of the Grishaverse, there's more than you think of just the main three longer novellas. Let us know your thoughts on this Demon in the Wood, on the books, the TV show, especially with their coming episodes. Our next episodes are going to be a full review of the show, which is so cool. You can connect with us on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube. And like we mentioned originally, the app Fable is like we're always on it. So reach out. Let's talk about what Grisha. Ooh, we should do that question in the group. What Grisha would you like to be?
What Grisha we would be?
Anything like that. Remember we did the test about which Six of Crows we'd be, and you're Mateus?
Yeah. Yeah. So not a Grisha.
So not Grisha. So yeah, check us out. Let us know. And we hope that you had fun diving into this universe and are reading a really good book, and happy reading.
Happy reading.